Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, we have to mention several things from Ruben Amorim to Fermin Lopez and also the whole situation at Manchester United. Gigio Donnarumma, let's jump into it. And here we are guys, the market is always here, new week, new things to say. Let me start when we talk about transfer market. I think we have to spend a minute to talk about Arsenal, because Arsenal won over the weekend. Okay, it was not an impossible game against Nottingham Forest, but you can already see, and it's still September, mid-September, the impact of the new signings made by Arsenal this summer. Congratulations to Arsenal, because Viktor Gyökeres obviously scoring goals, Martin Zubimendi scoring goals and showing his quality. That was a fantastic signing in my personal opinion. Quite underrated what Arsenal did this summer with Zubimendi, who is a special midfielder, who is a special player, and so that's for sure a good point to discuss. But also Christian Mosquera paid almost nothing, less than 20 million euros, imagine, as a package for the defender. And then also important to mention the impact of other players, including Noni Madueke, right, from Chelsea, with you remember that social media movement with many fans not so happy with the signing of Madueke. Well, Madueke didn't have any problem to go to Arsenal, to accept this challenge. Arsenal to trust him, Mikel Arteta to believe in his skills, Andrea Berta, the director, to sign the player, and now Madueke already being appreciated by Arsenal fans. So the feeling at Arsenal is very positive about the new signings, and I think this is a very good point for the start of the season for the Gunners, who started really well so far in the opening Premier League games, and now ready for Champions League football. Also important to mention Gigio Donnarumma, guys. Gigio Donnarumma, because behind the scenes of the Gigio Donnarumma story, there is inside another story, because Donnarumma started very well his new Premier League chapter at Manchester City, with many important saves, with a kind of man of the match performance. Then Erling Haaland won, but the same Haaland after the game said probably I should give this award to Gigio, because what he did is really special. So this is a fantastic goalkeeper, but he was an idea for Manchester United, maybe? Many questions about that. Why Man United didn't sign Donnarumma? Man United considered that possibility. There was a call with the agents of Donnarumma in July to understand the situation, but never a negotiation, never an official bid, never anything concrete, because Man United believed that despite the transfer fee, 30 million euros plus add-ons to reach 35 million euros, this is what Manchester City paid to Paris Saint-Germain for Gigio Donnarumma, so for sure not big money, but don't forget that the player was obviously out of contract in summer 2026, otherwise he was gonna cost, of course, way more than this. Well, Man United, apart from the transfer fee, didn't want to spend big money on a salary, because of the financial fair play situation, because of the salary structure they have, because of what they are doing in terms of salary internally at the club. So they didn't want to spend really big money in terms of salary for Gianluigi Donnarumma. That was a decision. It was part of the strategy, part of the idea. Of course, anyone can have his own opinion. For some people, it's good to go for a young goalkeeper with a big potential, like Senne Lammens, who is soon going to be competing for the first goalkeeper spot in Manchester United. So Senne Lammens, I think, will have his chance very soon to start under Ruben Amorim. And then, important to say, on Gigio Donnarumma, Manchester City entered in a very convincing way. Manchester City didn't just call to ask the situation. Man City already planned with Donnarumma as a potential target for 2026. Man City wanted to sign Donnarumma on a free in summer 2026. That was their plan internally. If Donnarumma will be available in 2026 on a free, Man City were prepared to enter the race. But then, when they were made aware of the opportunity to sign Donnarumma immediately in summer 2025, despite signing James Trafford, well, the decision from Gigio Donnarumma to try something different immediately after what Paris Saint-Germain did to him. Don't forget that Paris Saint-Germain decided after the contract negotiations collapsing to cut Donnarumma from their squad and not to have Donnarumma anymore in their team, not even for the Super Cup, after winning the Champions League, also thanks to Donnarumma. Well, in that moment, Manchester City entered very strong. Pep Guardiola entered as part of the conversation, and so he was absolutely crucial to convince Donnarumma. He didn't need to be convinced, because Donnarumma was very happy about the Man City project, but having Pep Guardiola pushing to sign the player was also for sure a factor. Then guys, on Manchester United, we have to spend a minute on Manchester United, because it was an horrible derby for Man United, losing 3-0, a terrible start of the season. Then what's the situation of Ruben Amorim? Many of you asking me about this. At the moment, guys, From Manchester United, they keep sending positive messages about Ruben Amorim. For sure, they're not happy about the situation. I can guarantee that Sir Jim Ratcliffe being at the stadium, at Etihad Stadium yesterday, is also quite a strong message, because he wants to be close to the squad, close to the staff, close to all the people at Manchester United now, to understand what's really needed to sort this situation. So Sir Jim Ratcliffe is really present in this situation. He wants to have an important control on that, obviously, with Omar Berrada, with management, and so all together. But what I can tell you is that at the moment, Ruben Amorim, what he says in public, when he says I'm not going to change my philosophy, he's sending a clear message to the club. So Ruben Amorim is not going to change the system. Ruben Amorim is convinced that the problem is not about the system, and probably not even about the majority of the players. He's quite happy with the squad he has. He's convinced that it's about the mentality of this team. So Ruben Amorim is really convinced that the performances are quite good, but they need to improve in terms of mentality, not to collapse when you're losing a game, to react in the correct way, to be always at top level on the physical point of view, which is something really important for his kind of football. So I can try to drive you into what Amorim says. When he says, I'm not going to change my philosophy, Ruben Amorim wants to say that, in his opinion, the system is good, the team is good. What's needed is to go with a different mentality and with more intensity. Ruben Amorim would do exactly the same he did again in terms of decisions, for sure, because this is his vision, this is his idea. When he says, if you want to change, you have to change the man, not the philosophy, because Ruben Amorim is not going to do something completely different from what we see right now. This is the vision of the manager. So it's on Man United. If in any moment they decide to fire the manager, this is Man United deciding that they want a different philosophy, a different strategy, a different vision. But Ruben Amorim has been very clear, also in private, not only in public, with Manchester United, telling the club that for him is quite clear, that for him is absolutely impossible to change the philosophy, impossible to change even the system. For him, it's not about the system. It's about the approach the players are having. So it's about working day by day on that, improving day by day on that. He's quite happy in terms of quality of the performance, because he's convinced that Man United were the better team against Arsenal, and not only, but he wants to see more in terms of intensity on the physical point of view. When it's about time to compete, he wants more. And this is the crucial part. So this is why Amorim is not changing his position. If in any moment Man United will decide to fire the manager, this is a decision made from the club to change the philosophy, because it's the only way with Ruben Amorim, who is very clear in his position. He's not going to change anything. At the moment, guys, on Monday morning from Manchester United, we are not getting messages of club deciding to change. So that's the message as of today. Of course, the situation is getting difficult, the situation is getting tense. Only 8 wins for Ruben Amorim as Manchester United manager in Premier League since he joined in November 2024, and so we're gonna see what's gonna happen next. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories, on Manchester United, on Gigi Donnarumma, on all the other cases we mentioned here on the channel. As always, remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon, here with Fabrizio. Ciao.